A couple of days ago, Apple announced Apple Podcast subscriptions. That's only coming in May, which is in a few days' time. But the very next day or 2 days after that, Spotify actually announced Spotify subscriptions. Lou Lader has been talking about this on his YouTube videos for a long time, on Lou Lader Clips. Spotify has been working on this for a long, long time, and it was kind of funny that when Apple announced their podcast subscription service, Apple announced theirs, but like kind of on a quiet basis. They didn't have any big hoo-ha event and all of those things like Apple did, but they have essentially the same thing, which basically means that Apple Podcasts, Apple subscription podcasts, are now a thing. The only thing about it is you can't get it on Spotify for podcasters. You've got to go through Anchor. And it's kind of interesting because it's now 2021, less people traveling around. However, podcasts have seen a lift in terms of viewership and listenership. Buzzsprout company that I use for hosting my podcast is pretty big in the space by now. Obviously, there's a ton of different hosting services. They are, I would say, one of the easiest systems to use. This video is not sponsored in any way. It's a very interesting time for audio because of the fact that, well, you can monetize your podcast. You have been able to monetize your podcast for a long time. But now that these subscription-based services are becoming native to Apple, becoming native to Anchor or Spotify, it's really interesting because now it's almost like a monetization option. And the interesting thing about Spotify is that they were also talking in the article about advertising. And so it seems like they're creating an advertising sort of ecosystem inside of their network because obviously there's music. There are already advertisers who advertise. And so this podcast subscription based thing might also have some sort of an advertising flavor to it. It's an exciting time if you are considering using Apple Podcast or subscriptions or Spotify. This is very confusing. If you are considering using subscription services on your podcast, what do you think about it? Are you going to be investigating it? What do you feel about Apple and Spotify competing with each other? In my mind, this is a power play between two very big services. Obviously, Apple invented podcasts. They created the ecosystem. They provided the network to podcasters. They were the first to market. And obviously, Spotify is after that position, specifically for subscriptions, but also for just general free listening as well. So that's my video for today. If you're liking the content, if you're liking the episodes, if you're liking the channel, hit the like button because that definitely helps me with the algorithm and showing the video to more people. Like I said, if you are considering a subscription-based podcast, where are you going? Are you going to Apple or are you going to podcast with Spotify? Let me know in the comments below. And I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye for now.